Hey, welcome back to another day of Project Silver training. My name is Erica Thomas, and today I am happy to be here sharing with you a little bit about strategic placement. Now, before I get started, I'm going to break out my Believe oil, one of my absolute favorite oils, just for everyday use. I like to drop it right on the crown of my head and kind of rub it in. It helps me focus. It helps me think clearly. It helps me just to feel like I'm empowered. It's a little bit like Valor for me, which I also have on because I rolled that on before I rolled tape. But I love just its grounding, it's calming, and it just helps inspire me to believe that I can do anything. And I believe that you can do anything, and I'm glad that you showed up today. So let's talk about strategic placement. Basically, this is where things kind of get fun, and you're switching gears from what we've been learning about how to share with people and like the one-on-one way to enroll and get members. But now this is the next step where you really get to think critically and strategically about where do I want to put all of these new people that I'm welcoming to Young Living. As far as my team, my organization goes, I don't want to just enroll people and have them on my front level, which is where they would normally go by default if they enroll with my member number as their enroller and sponsor. Young Living gives us the option to actually enroll people ourselves, but then designate another sponsor. And that just means somebody on your team who's also going to be helping to support them. They're going to actually show up in a different place in your downline viewer. So if you're here at the top of your organization and you've got a few people on your first level, people that you change a sponsor for are going to go deeper down into your organization. And that's what we want because we're building for long-term success. We don't just want a bunch of people hanging out on that flat frontline level. We want to really look ahead, look at the different ranks that our team members are trying to build towards and support them. So strategic placement really is just thinking ahead and grouping people together. People will naturally begin to form groups as your team members, your brand partners begin to enroll people. Those people will be under them. But one way that we can assist our brand partners in their growth is to create those strategic placements. So I like to group people together by several different categories. If there's a social circle that these people kind of all belong to, say it's your high school or your college friends from way back when, and they're familiar with one another and they're kind of acquaintances, you can kind of group them all together in a leg. Maybe one of your college roommates got started with you a while ago, and then a few months later, somebody else from that same circle gets started. It's a natural strategy to put that person under that person that has that thing in common with them. You can do that with your church circles or maybe your kids' school or extracurricular activities. You can group people together by geographical location. So if you've got a bunch of friends up in Canada and they all get started, you can kind of group them together so that they are learning about the promos together. They're learning about the way Young Living operates in their region. If you have people that are from a certain state or whatever, that way it just makes it easier for people when they want to do in-person classes. They've got kind of some built-in support, some local people right there in their team that they can get together with. So this is kind of like next level of business building. It's when you go from just casually enrolling people any old place they fall in your organization to really making it more of a conscious determination and decision making process. So I encourage you to really pay attention to the rank that you're at. Let's say that you're a senior star, you're working on building to executive, and you know that you need to have this many legs with this much OGV. Dig into what is required of you to reach that next level. Dig into what is required for you to reach silver. And then also be familiar with the rank you just advanced from, because that's where your business partners are most likely working towards right now, and you want to be able to come alongside them. I particularly love to find a business partner or a brand partner that is really starting to enroll. They're passionate. You can see that they're in it to win it. And I love to kind of place people under that person. It helps to build them. It helps to encourage them. And then they can actually take a more active role in supporting that person if they'd like. But I do caution you on taking people that you enroll placing them under another sponsor and then stepping back and being like, well, I gave them another sponsor, my responsibility is over. That's never a great idea. I encourage you to always maintain a relationship with your personally enrolled people. Sometimes we call those our PEs. Don't ever just relegate them to somebody else and think that it's now their responsibility. I like to stay in contact with them. I love to interweave my people that I've enrolled with other teams that are enrolling. That way you kind of form this cohesiveness. And God forbid one of your team members is no longer part of your team at some point in the future, I would still have personal connections with many people in their team because I had enrolled them myself. I'm going to share with you some printable graphics that you can use to kind of visualize where your brand partners are as far as their rise to rank. You can kind of write in their names, who they've enrolled under them, and you can visualize on paper, like I like to do because I'm a very visual person, visualize where you want to place people as you are enrolling them. Now, how do you actually change a sponsor? It's actually very simple. Young Living makes it very easy at 2 points in your new member's journey. They can do it right at enrollment. You can give them one number to put in the enroller field and another number to put in the sponsor field. That sponsor field would be the person in your organization that you want them to be nested down underneath. The other way is just keep it nice and simple. I actually prefer it this way. Give them one number, your member number, or they can use your sign up link, and you will become the enroller and sponsor simultaneously. And after the fact, after they've enrolled and placed their first order, you can either call into Young Living or you could use the live chat feature within the first 5 days and just let them know you want to do a sponsor change. So you just type it in the live chat, let them know this is who I want to be the new sponsor, give them that member number, say I want to remain the enroller, and they will do that for you pretty instantly via live chat or over the phone. Now, if you have waited past those 5 days and it's the week after, a couple weeks later, you have up to 30 days to go ahead and still move those people, but it takes a little bit longer. You've got to actually email into resolutions@youngliving.com. You're going to need to send in your member number, your PIN number, the name of the member that you want to move, who you want to move them under as a sponsor. It gets just a tiny bit more complicated, but it can still be done within those 30 days. So that's just a general overview of strategic placement. I do suggest and I encourage you to connect with your upline leader when you're first getting started. Let them know, hey, I'm thinking of putting this person over here because of XYZ reason. What do you think of this? And you can brainstorm and kind of work through with your upline leader, whether they're your upline silver or your RCD or whoever you have a personal connection with and you know that they've been in the business a while and they have a good understanding of how this works. And then once you get the hang of it, you can do it on your own, easy peasy. It's really not a big deal. But it is a lot of fun to kind of create these groups and see them begin to form community within themselves and just support one another and grow each other's teams and businesses. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments here. I would be happy to try to answer them for you. Connect with your upline and have fun as you create your strategy for growing your team for the long term.